Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona Homes by Ivonne. Today we are going to talk about how to remove paid collections from your credit score. And I have my friend in the business, Carlton Dasher from REALTOR, and we are going to start right now. Thank you, Carl, for being with us today and share your knowledge about credit. I know you've been doing this for many years, but people that is watching right now, they do not know you. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, yes, I actually started out as for a direct mortgage lender called CityFed Diversified in Carlton, California, years ago, over 20 years ago. But the business only catered to A paper. That means that if you had an A+ credit, then they can guarantee financing for you. Well, unfortunately, Ivonne, we know not everyone had A+ credit that wanted to purchase a home. But I've always had a heart to help people to be in position so they can qualify. So I had a great relationship with the processor. They would take the files and put it into a file cabinet in the back for everyone that was declined. And she approached me one day. She says, you know what, you have a big heart. She says, I'm going to show you a way on how you can help these people reverse their way of how to become excellent stewards over their finances and to get them in position to be able to qualify for their home, especially for first-time home buyers. And originally, and from there, you know, we broke off and started our own business. It was a credit repair company at that time. And that's when real estate was really, really booming in the like the late 80s.
Okay.
Oh yeah, really booming. And also in the early 90s, you know, mortgage and real estate was really good, especially in the Southern California area. And you were able to purchase a 4-bedroom home for about $115,000, $120,000. Those days are long gone now.
Yes, they're long gone.
Yeah. So and you know, it developed. Now the unique thing we did in business was that was different from any other credit repair company is credit repair. Really listen to this carefully. Credit repair is really primarily putting a band-aid on what the problem is right now. But if you put a band-aid on your hand and you keep wetting it and wetting it, it's going to get soggy and the band-aid is going to fall off, but the infection is still there because you have not addressed the root of the problem. The address of the problem is a lot of us were never taught how to be stewards and pay everything on time based on signing that dotted line that we were promising to pay our bills in a timely manner. We don't read the fine print, or we care not to read the fine print. We just wanted the keys to the house, or we wanted the keys to the car, even though we made promises in the finance department. So I think a lot of us lack in the area of becoming excellent stewards. We weren't taught. Our ancestors didn't teach us how to become excellent stewards. My mother just knew to pay her bills on time, and I just followed her trend in paying bills on time. She approached me one day and she says, son, I have an 838 FICO score. She says, I can buy anything I want to with just a signature. Now, I didn't understand that in the beginning. I understand it now. And she says, I'm going to show you, proof to the pudding. She went to go buy a brand new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, and she took me to the dealership with her. And she said, watch this, son. She said, I'm going to teach you. She went and saw the Oldsmobile she wanted to purchase. And she told the fleet manager, hey, I want a white one. I want to test drive one. And she says, make sure that you have all the paperwork prepared when I come back. You can pull my credit if you want to. All I know is I want to take this for a test drive. And I want it under these low interest rate terms. If not, I know someone else down the street that's willing to take my business. Came back. The process took maybe 20 minutes. They had the paperwork ready for her. And all she had to do was sign her signature. They did not ask her to put a down payment down or write a check for anything. She said, looked at me and says, did you learn something? Now I understand how important it is to be a steward and not having to address the unfortunate credit issues on your profile.
In reality, the credit score is just saying that you are responsible with your finances.
Absolutely.
And sometimes what I'm hearing from Carl is we need to change behaviors on how we spend our money so we are not in that place again where we need to take care of our credit score. I know in today's market, as of February 2021, real estate has become the new toilet paper. There is many buyers that are competing for a house, and I have a lot of calls of people wanting to improve their credit so they can acquire the American dream and being a homeowner. So Carl, let's start with how can people build a credit when they don't have any credit?
Build credit? Okay, well, first of all, you build credit slowly by, there's lots of places where you can get credit, and you start off with a credit card, even though I always say credit cards are used to buy things you don't need with money you don't have. But it is a great tool to use to establish credit profile. So you want to start out with a limited amount, $250 or $500 credit limit. Obviously, they're going to charge you a little bit higher interest rate because you're at risk, because you have not been able to demonstrate that you can pay something timely, on time. So there is a science behind how you build that credit. And you charge something for 10% of whatever the credit limit is. And when the bill comes, you make one monthly payment. Then when the next bill comes, you pay that balance in full. So if you had a credit limit of $500, you go charge something for $50. When the bill comes, the minimum payment on the $50 balance is about maybe $10, $12. And when the next bill comes, you pay it in full. So now what you've done is you demonstrated to the FICO system that you have the ability to make a timely payment, and you have the ability to pay it off in full. That shows responsibility. So the FICO system is inspired by that. And you'll start seeing your score rise up every month when you do that. And that's going to really elevate. So you need at least 3 to 4 trade references to establish and build your credit. So we have a listing of creditors, places they can go to where they'll get approval to start building up their credit.
Okay, that's great information.
Right.
Another question I get often is how to get a 720 credit score in 6 months.
Okay, we have 2 programs. One is called the 15-day increased credit score program, where we have the ability to help the candidate to elevate their credit scores in 15 business days. That's what's called 15-day increased score. But it's a qualifying program. That means you must have more positive trade lines on your profile than negative. So in other words, you can't have 10 collections and 3 positive accounts. It has to be the other way around. And it may require that you have some disposable cash. You have some loose or liquid cash available to pay on some accounts. Okay, if you don't fall into those categories, that's not the best program for you. But it's an outstanding program because our greatest testimony is a client in Lakewood, California. We were able to raise his score to 194 points in 2 weeks.
So you can help anybody in the country to elevate their credit score, not just people living here in Arizona.
Correct. Well, nationwide, I always say from Hawaii to New Jersey. Okay. Also, we have an 800 club. Okay. The 800 club is where it doesn't matter what your score is. It's not a qualifying program, where it's a 4-week class on a Sunday for 30 minutes each. I'm counseling you, giving you assignments, homework to do. And then by the next class, you need to prove to me that you have fulfilled that assignment. And by the time we get to the 4th week, you're going to create a habit. And you continue to create the habit, your scores are going to go up over 800.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question.
800, it does.
Yes.
That sounds very interesting for me. And I know you have helped a client in the past, and Carl was very successful. It took a week to remove something in the credit and acquire the credit he needed to qualify for the loan, and we were able to get the loan, and he's now in the house. So another question I have, is there anything like raising your credit score instantly?
No, it's no such thing as raising your credit score instantly. Some finance and mortgage companies used to do what is called rapid rescore. If that's still available, I'm not sure if it is. But anytime someone comes to you and says, hey man, we'll increase your credit score, 50 to 100 points, and it's going to cost you $500 to do it, you need to turn and run the other way.
Okay. That's probably a good advice.
Yeah, you probably need to turn and run the other way. That is absolutely impossible to do, or you can suspect they're doing something unethical or illegal, and we don't practice in things like that. We don't do that.
Now, the next question I get more often, and that's the title of the video, how to remove paid collections from a credit report.
This is a very interesting conversation piece, and I have to really take my time so that everyone understands this. And I always use this as an example. If I was being accused of shooting someone with a gun, and I received a summons to go to court, and I have to stand in front of the judge and raise my right hand and swear under oath. Tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, right? So I do that. And I stand and I look at the judge and I say, Your Honor, I did shoot the guy down the street, but will you still let me go? What's going to be the answer?
No.
No. You're gonna have a new ministry called prison ministry. Okay,
yes.
you're going to jail, right? So you made an admission of guilt. That's my whole point. You got to listen to this. You made an admission of guilt, and that's what they're trying to find you guilty of in the court of law. In the case of credit, if it's an outstanding collection, you have all accounts for personal fall up under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That means you have a right to dispute anything that is negative on your file, whether it is legitimate or not. So you don't give yourself or turn yourself in. You use the rules that you're entitled to get them to prove your guilt of you not paying that bill in a timely manner or it falls into collection. So there's a series of items that they need to provide to you that shows the ethical proof that this is actually a bona fide collection. If they do not or cannot prove it within a time period, that item has to be removed from your credit report.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
It has to be reported. Now, due to anonymity and protection and privacy of our business, we really don't get into what those items are, but that's how we use that to help an individual get things removed from your file. Because here's another important part, Ivonne. You can't dispute something on it, because I hear this from people all the time. They say, hey man, I'll just do my own credit. And I should know how to do it. I clean my own credit. So they go and I'll save me some money. So they'll go in and dispute with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and they'll consciously say, oh, this is not mine. But the credit bureau is going to send your disputed request to the original creditor. The original creditor has a right to rebuttal at a certain time period. And now think about it, the original creditor is going to provide proof that is your account. But remember when you wrote a check or you paid for it online, they keep records of that. So now what you've done is you gave the credit bureau mixed messages. You said it's not your debt, but they got proof you make a payment on it. So if it's not your debt, why did you make a payment? So if you consistently keep doing that, you just may, and I've seen this happen several times on a credit report, you will have what is called a hawk alert showing on your credit report. A hawk alert lets the bureau know that you tried to dispute things under unethical means. So once you have a hawk alert on your credit report, anything that you try to dispute in the future, whether it's legitimate or not, it's not going to come off your credit.
Wow.
Because you lied to the bureau about that obligation. People need to understand that. So that's why I say don't agree to any promises. If a so-called credit repair person tells you, oh man, I can clean everything off your credit in the next 60, 90 days, wipe everything off. Don't buy that. Don't buy it.
So another question I get often is, does paying off collections improves your credit score?
It doesn't necessarily improve your score, but it shows your future financer that you took care of that obligation.
Okay.
Now, they still may give you an approval, like for that house or that car, but they're still going to charge you a little slightly higher interest rate because there's evidence that you paid a debt off that, that previously was in default because it went into collections. You still took care of it. Now, there's a way to answer your previous question. There still is a way to remove outstanding collections. There still is a way to do it. You can challenge it, dispute it, or I would highly recommend that you not try to do the attempt yourself. Use a professional, people. Use a professional that knows the lingo on how to communicate with a debt collector, how to challenge them on a negotiation process. Okay, you scratch my back, your back gets scratched as well. As long as you can provide this to me in writing, which is a demand notice, then we will pay you this. Do we have an agreement? If not, my client has another debt collector that's just as important of an obligation that needs to be taken care of. And since you don't want to work with me, we're going to use that money to pay the other bill. Then you're going to need to allow us at least 2 years to raise the money to call you later on and see if we can pay you later.
I know by experience, I have had clients that they
Right.
have now want to
Do their own.
hire
Right.
a professional to help them with that, and they make
Right.
decisions on their own. And I have seen that
Mhm.
sometimes their credit goes down instead
They
of
dropped it
going
down.
up because they paid an old collection.
Well, not only because they paid an old collection, is because after they paid off an account, they closed the account.
Oh,
See, when you close an account, you can't demonstrate to a financer you have the ability to make a timely payment. So they ignore that account, and it actually drops your score when you close accounts. You always want to demonstrate that you have the ability to make a timely payment. That's what inspires the FICO system. So I had a guy approach me one day. He says, Carl, man, I closed 22 of my credit card accounts. I closed them and my score should be good. Well, when he got his new report, his score dropped 68 points.
oh, that's a lot of points.
It dropped 68 points because he didn't have enough trade references to qualify for this car he was trying to get. He was trying to get a brand new BMW. And he thought that if he closed all these accounts, it would give him a better chance of qualifying. Now, what he should have done is he should have left some of those accounts open and used that strategy, as I mentioned before. Go charge something 10%, make a payment, pay it off, because you're showing that you have the ability to make a timely payment, and then his scores would have went up. He would have had the new keys to the BMW.
I'm talking about BMWs.
Okay.
I have seen it happen before too.
Okay.
And by the way, if you are considering to buying the house or are in the process of buying the house, do not buy a car until you have the keys of your house, please.
Get the house first,
yes.
Then buy everything.
Then buy whatever you want until
exactly.
you have the keys of your house.
I got a nightmare story.
Well,
yeah.
I have had one too, where somebody decided to go buy a car. They were going to start the process of buying the house,
right?
And their credit score dropped significantly. Not only that, but they were not able to qualify now for the house that they wanted.
Correct.
So credit scores go down.
Yes.
How's that work?
Well, I had a gentleman who had a great job. He worked for the Department of Water and Power in California, and his income was great. He made $172,000 a year with all the overtime. So his income, you would think $172,000 a year, he can qualify for a house.
And secure job. Yes.
He couldn't qualify for a trip around the corner if it cost 50 cents.
Oh.
Okay. So what we have to do is to help him with his accounts, get his scores up, and I gave him instruction. I said, don't go buy anything, because we got him pre-approved for a home. I said, don't go buy anything until escrow closes and you get the house first. Guess what he did? He went to a Ford dealership and bought the top of the line Ford Excursion. It shot his debt to income ratio up to over 61%. You don't want to be over 45% threshold. It shot him over 61%. His loan fell out of escrow.
Oh,
now you can imagine how I felt.
I can imagine how the realtor felt too.
Exactly. Exactly. So people, this is why Ivonne is saying, don't buy anything yet. Follow the instructions of the professional. Okay. Wait till you get the keys. There's nothing like home ownership. Nothing like it to own your own home. Make it happen. And you have the control of that by following the instruction. Get the house, then you buy everything with it. Because once you have the home, now you're considered less risky, because financiers want to give approval to someone who's a homeowner, right?
Yes.
Homeowner. Okay. Just because you got a brand new BMW, but you living in an apartment, that doesn't impress anybody.
It does not. You
right.
still have car payments.
Yeah, you still got car payments, and you're probably paying a house note payment at the apartment.
Yes.
Right? So don't do that. Do it the other way around, people.
Well, we are doing this video because it's very important information for you to know, and also for you to understand that yes, it is worthy to pay for these services for a professional that is going to handle it for you, improve your credit, and make sure you also change some of your habits so you are not in that situation again. So Carl, I'm going to ask you, what is the average somebody should expect to spend for your services?
Okay.
And how the handling when somebody, I know you do negotiate accounts,
right,
and they don't necessarily have to pay the full amount when
right,
they hire you.
Correct.
So tell me about that.
Okay, well, for the service for credit, it's always based on an individual circumstance, because everyone's circumstance is different from one another. I mean, I may have a client that has, 10 issues. I may have another one, like my worst client, he had 91 collections. So obviously their situations is different from one another. So basically what we do is we have them complete an analysis report, and then we'll do an investigation. It's no cost to the client up front, because we want to have the assurance we can help the person before we charge them a dime. So we do the analysis report, and most likely we're going to give you 2 to 3 options to attack the issue to get to that place where you need to be. You have a right to accept it or decline it. If you decline it, we go our separate way and we're done. If you accept it and you accept the terms and the fee, then we do the breakdown showing you exactly what the cost would be. But it's very difficult to determine upfront what it would cost. We may charge someone maybe $350 or $500 and maybe $1,500, because we have to step in as their power of attorney to negotiate and speak on their behalf, because we know the lingo to speak to the debt collector. And we have relationships with over 200 debt collectors too, by the way. Then they know me just by my voice, to give them a call and try to negotiate. I know what to ask for and how to get it done. So if they agree, great. We have payment plan options that are available, because we don't want things to become more of a burden to you. We want to help you. We want to help you get to that place, to the promised land of your milk and honey, of your new castle.
Yes.
You want to see, it's nothing like home ownership. So we want to help you get there.
Yeah. So let's say you got somebody that is looking to buy a house, and they just have to remove one collection to improve 20 points. Well,
to improve 20 points, then, depending on the circumstance, if it has to be done quickly, like I think we had a situation where the guy had to have it done in a couple of weeks in order to qualify for property, we may charge a small $25, $50 fee to do that, just for, our labor and the time, the administrative time to do the job. We won't charge a regular standard fee for a service that we give our customers for a whole year's worth of service. We just wouldn't do that. Okay, so we may do that depending on certain circumstances. Yes.
Well, thank you, Carl. This was very valuable information.
Okay.
It's important you hire a professional. It's important you get that cleared up. There are no situations alike, and I know when it comes to our credit and money, we do not want to talk about it. But get the help. Do not feel embarrassed for the situation that you are in right now, because there is hope, there is help, and there is a way, and there is a better tomorrow, and you can fulfill your dream. Thank you for watching. And if this was valuable for you, please subscribe to the channel. If you want more information on how to improve your credit, you can contact Carl. All his information is in the description. If you are considering to buy a house, you can reach out to me. I will see you next time, and God bless you.
Have a great day.